All right, so we are back at it today, and yeah, weather conditions are pretty much perfect for this flight. Wind right now is pretty much out of 0.2 and about 3 to 6 knots, so not looking too bad at all. Only thing I have right here is this little strut. See, fully depressed like that. Yep, that shouldn't be anything that should prevent me from flying, versus this strut right here. As you can see, that is nice and good, but so it's a little bit lopsided. That's it. I'm about to do, that was just off of my initial walk around. I'm about to do the rest of the pre-flight checks, and then get myself in the air. I just have to be mindful of that while I'm landing. Okay, so a little bit more on this strut. I did notify my CFI and let him know about the messed up strut, and he contacted the owner of the flight school, and they're supposed to be getting a maintenance shop, which is right there where that plane is. That's also the maintenance shop. They're supposed to be coming to fill the strut up, so I'm just waiting for that. But as you can see, that strut is all the way down. I mean, barely got a finger in there in that strut. So very, very interesting. All right, as compared to over here, yeah, we're looking good there, you know. So doing our checks, you know, making sure that we get everything right like it should be before we fly. I'm not sure that would have made too much of a difference, except for on the ground, taxiing and landing. And if I came in for a hard landing, could have probably busted up the tire too, but I think I'm better than that. Just my opinion. But all right, well, we are headed to the maintenance shop to get the strut filled. All these aviation experiences. All right, so we are at the shop right now, and he's about to get to working on filling it up. They're pretty busy. They have a few planes in here. That's pretty nice right here, and some other planes right there. But once they get me filled up, we can take off. That's what I'm looking forward to. Yeah, he's got a certified A&P and all of that. I think this is pretty cool. So if I ever do decide to get into aviation ownership, I might be going through some of this stuff myself. So it's good to see it while I'm here on the ground. So we are back up. I didn't film the process. It was an interesting process. Didn't want to get in their way. Just wanted to get it done so I can get up in this air. I am almost an hour behind schedule, but like I said, I don't have anywhere to go other than this flight, so I'm good to go for the day. But yeah, let's get this thing going. All right, Hampton Roads traffic 4293 Juliet, taxiing from the FBO to runway 02. Hampton Roads traffic.
Roads traffic, Sky 20 Foxtrot, short file, runway 10, stand pattern, Hampton Roads.
Wait. Tipped it. Two 4293 Juliet, taxiing to runway 028, Hampton traffic. All right, let's get back to our documents. And we are going to go through our run-up checklist. Brakes are on.
Runway 10, touch.
Brakes are on. Fuel is on the proper tank. Don't need that on. We're on both right now. We are not trimmed, so let's get ourselves trimmed for takeoff. We are now trimmed for takeoff. Flight controls. Yep, free and clear on the flight controls. Gonna come back a little bit on our mixture. There we go. All right, and we're gonna go up to our 2,000 RPMs.
We'll be doing a right down departure to the north.
We are at our 2,000 RPMs. We are gonna go to our left mag. Good. Right mag, no drop. Back to both. RP on. We're still looking good here. RP off.
Right downwind 10, full stop.
All right, now it's time to take her back down to idle. Does want to get up on you. Set my time too. A lot to go over. It's a lot of things to do. Remember, timer is on. Back to our maps. We're going to record all of this. We're going to start our timer here. We are on our tank here with the left tank that we have.
Hampton Roads traffic, Army 40 with I was right base, 10 full stop, Hampton Roads.
That was done. Make sure we're
now at this spot in the video, I don't know what happened to the radio system, but yeah, it's just started staticking the entire time up until I get to Chesterfield and shut it down, shut the plane down,
so that is
and cut it back on, or rather cut the avionics off and then cut it back on.
Right there.
But you're gonna hear some static in the background, so please just bear with it for a little bit. That's coming from the radio.
Do a short field takeoff. Body's got a lot of static on the mic. Hampton Roads traffic 4293 Juliet, holding short of runway 02, Hampton Roads traffic.
We'll hold short of 2 for your departure.
Say again, Hampton Roads traffic.
Hampton Roads traffic, RV 45 o'clock, going to hold short of runway 2 for the departure.
Hampton Roads traffic 4293 Juliet, taking off runway 02, Hampton Roads traffic.
All right, so one of the reasons that I decided to leave a lot of the static in the video is just to illustrate that you never know what's gonna happen when you go on your flight. You know, you do all your checklists, you hope that everything goes right, and sometimes things happen. Now, had I lost a radio altogether, I did have another radio in my flight bag, which actually connects to my headset. So I still had that in there as a backup. But at this point in time, I didn't think that the audio issues was coming from my plane. I thought that was somebody holding down a button or something like that. I thought it was coming from someone else. I wasn't aware that that was coming from my plane. So I was completely oblivious to it. But I knew, and it came to mind actually, once I got up in the air, eventually I'm going to turn down the radio and some of the static will go away. It's still there, but it just won't be as loud.
Going on with that radio. Fuel pump is on. What are we looking for here? We're at our 500. We're going to keep our fuel pump on for now until we hit that 1,000 foot.
Traffic, 7 o'clock, 1 mile, altitude.
Traffic is 7 o'clock, which they are coming in for that landing. We're going to come around these towers either way and then go towards our destination. All right, we hit our 1,000 feet. Fuel pump is off. Still climbing on our heading. There's my nav log.
Now, if you see my route, you see that big kind of curve in there. And I did that so that I can make sure I stay out of Richmond's airspace.
Haven't got to the top of the climb yet, but we're almost there.
The GPS, it kind of puts me really close to their airspace.
Here we go, it's 4,500. We're gonna come back.
And just because I didn't feel like doing any communications with their tower, I just wanted to make sure I was out
There we go, maintain this
of
altitude.
their airspace.
Here's my trim. Myself some nose down. There we go.
But as you can see in my nav log, you know, I have all my waypoints set. You know, as much as I can set up is set up.
And we'll maintain this altitude.
Now, the one thing I wish ForeFlight did was when you do a nav log and you have multiple points, I wish it did a top of climb, top of descent for each place. But for whatever reason, it only does that for your initial takeoff spot and then your last spot for landing. Now, I can add all those things in, but it would be nice if it did all the calculations for you.
All right, we're coming in for this landing.
So at this point, we skipped ahead. We were close to Chesterfield's airspace at this point, and I am setting up for a landing. And the reason the static is louder is because I cut the radios up so I can hear the traffic in the
Video
area.
sucks.
But for the majority of the flight there, I had my radios kind of low. I can still hear traffic, but I just didn't need it at the time. But coming into their traffic pattern, I wanted to make sure that I can hear what was going on. And this is my second time going to Chesterfield.
Report is made.
Chesterfield County, exit jet 843, longitude, will be taxiing to runway 33 via Alpha.
Chesterfield has a nice airport.
All right, we have touchdown.
I mean, I would say Richmond Airport, Richmond International, is probably 15 minutes away from Chesterfield. So when I say you're right outside of the Class Charlie, I mean you're just outside of their Class Charlie. It's very close. So you're kind of straddling that border when you're flying in that area. So just, you know, trying to maintain my distance from that Class Charlie. and I've been to Richmond International. I've landed there as well. I just didn't feel like having to deal with
Chesterfield County 4293 Juliet, clear runway 33, Chesterfield County. Back to the FBO, Chesterfield County.
And this is my first time actually taxiing off and going towards the FBO. The first time I went, there was 3 of us in the plane. It was me, my CFI, and I had a friend in the back seat with me. That video I did not post, but it was 3 of us, and it was pretty much a touch and go. And from there, we went to Emporia. A similar flight. Emporia's closed at this time, so we had to switch it up to Lawrenceville, which is about 15 minutes from Emporia. But I had to get my thoughts together, chill out. I had the plane to myself pretty much all day.
I don't plan on staying. This is my 150 cross country. I'm gonna clean up and go right back out. All right, thank you. Okay. Crazy work. Just landed. Cut that off real quick. Okay.
Now, while it would have cost me, I probably should have left the engine running. That way I could have got my straight 3 hours.
Chesterfield traffic 4293 Juliet, taxiing from FBO to runway 33.
But because I cut the engine off, that took off my time. And I sat there for probably 15, 20 minutes. It's not in the video, but that would have been enough to get my 3 hours. And I wouldn't have had to do another cross country. It's all good. I still need a total of 10 hours.
Chesterfield has a lot of planes out here today. A lot of activity going on in Chesterfield. It's pretty busy. Plane right ahead of me that's landing, and there's one taking off. Got a lot going on here.
Let me know what you think about this, me adding ForeFlight into the
So we're
videos.
taxiing via Delta to Alpha on runway 33. We'll take off and make our way out to Lawrenceville.
Lawrenceville is just one of those airports.
Civil traffic, 521 Army Foxtrot, taking runway 33, going to be heading straight out. Chesterfield traffic, Sierra 283 Juliet Sierra is clear, runway 33, heading back to 33 Chesterfield.
Also get this weather here.
Peak gusts 15. Visibility 10. Sky condition clear. Temperature 18 Celsius. Dew point 00 Celsius. Altimeter 3019er. Richmond Executive Airport, Chesterfield County. Automated weather observation 1825 Zulu. Wind 300 at 09er. Peak gusts 15. Visibility 10. Sky condition clear. Temperature 18 Celsius. Dew point 00 Celsius. Altimeter 3019er. Richmond Executive Airport, Chester.
All right, we are good to go there. They're off and they're gone. Chesterfield County 4293 Juliet, taking up runway 33, Chesterfield County.
Approaching runway 33. Entered runway
Fuel pump
33.
is on.
5,400 feet remaining.
We're going to do a regular takeoff on this one. We have plenty of runway here compared to the other one that we left. All right.
Sun is shining, sky so blue. Oh yeah. Pack your bags, let's break through.
At our 60.
Central Channel 521, runway 5, try to partner southeast. Bye. Bye.
You know, I always notice that in these videos I get kind of quiet during takeoff. I guess that's to be expected. You know, takeoff and landings are probably your most high stressful times, and you got to concentrate. There's a lot going on, but it's amazing, you know, watching it back and just thinking, man, you know, yeah, you got to be in the zone, kind of concentrating, making sure, hey, I'm not lifting off too early, I'm achieving my speeds, I don't get into a stall situation. That quiet is everything.
Chesterfield County 4293 Juliet, departing to the south. The thing about Chesterfield and going from Chesterfield to Lawrenceville, there's not a lot to see outside at all. So these waypoints, a little bit difficult. But this one here is a particular waypoint. This river, actually right there, there's a little flag. What is the name of that? Swift Creek Reservoir. I can see it right out my window on the right-hand side.
283 Juliet Sierra, turning left downwind, runway 33, Chesterfield.
It's that reservoir. I don't know, it looks like that waterway is coming all the way down towards here. Or maybe not, but there we go, and we're going to set ourselves up for some cruise flying. Bring her back. Measurements are reading the same. Everything is still good. Oil temps are good. Fuel pressure's good. Oil pressure's good. Temps, everything still looking great.
Camel traffic 2477 Sierra, 5 miles northwest and 45 upwind on base. Chesterfield traffic, Sirius 283 Juliet Sierra, turning left base, runway 33, full stop, Chesterfield.
Traffic, we're Tesla 736 Foxtrot is over track. We'll be coming inbound for landing runway 2.
Okay, I am looking for Lawrenceville. Should be somewhere over here. Back on course.
Traffic, system retreat, Quebec West, 10 miles an hour for runway 06, Epson RNair 6 for Henderson.
Martin County traffic, Diamond 302 Delta Sierra is over the top at 2000. Across Smithfield and enter left downwind runway 3, Martin County.
We're going to have to come back around. This is right here is 18. Don't want 18. We're coming on 36. But the airport is in sight. I passed it a little bit. Oh, that wind came at me. Okay.
This is traffic Skyhawk 283, Lima's vicinity of the North Ferry Docks, 1,500, join the 45 of traffic 31, Williamsburg.
Martin County traffic, Diamond 302 Delta Sierra, left base runway 3, Martin County.
Okay, so you can see the runway over my shoulder. That's where I'm headed. That's runway 36. Yeah, things were not going right at this point.
Nice 360 to get myself into this downwind position. And drop some altitude at the same time.
Williamsburg traffic, Spermo 330 Kilo Golf, departing the pattern, last call, Williamsburg.
So this part was good, circling so I can drop some altitude, and then I was going to join the traffic pattern into the downwind from here.
Traffic 3 Lima, base 31, Williamsburg.
And if you see that runway, it's very narrow, and it's on a hill.
Brunswick County 4293 Juliet, downwind for runway 36, Brunswick County.
Okay, Mecklenburg, Brunswick Regional, you got a Hawker on a 6-mile final, 01, Brunswick Regional traffic.
So this is where things kind of start to go amiss. You know, during your regular traffic patterns, generally the tip of your wing is just over or just beyond the runway. I'm probably a little bit too far in, or drifting a little bit too far into the runway instead of away from the runway. Because when I make my base turn,
traffic, Diamond 302 Delta Sierra, left crosswind, runway 3,
it's no good. I'm way in on that base.
County 4293 Juliet, left base for runway 36, Brunswick County.
Traffic, 0275, fuel, that's 1,100 with Eastern Hampton, turning final on site.
Now mind you, I'm getting slow. I'm coming down in altitude. I'm fully dirty, meaning I have my flaps in. And I'm overshooting the runway. And then I try to correct myself. And in this situation, it could be pretty bad if I
again, kind of overshooting it.
bank too hard, because that angle of attack can put me at a stall, and I'm super low, and I was very mindful of that.
You got it.
And Mecklenburg, Brunswick Regional Airport, you got a Hawker, 2-mile final, 01, full stop, Mecklenburg.
And you can see now that I'm making my way back to the runway, back to the center line. I overshot.
Brunswick County 4293 Juliet, final for runway 36, Brunswick County.
Because my downwind wasn't set up properly. Now, when they talk about a stable approach, and in the books, this is exactly what they mean by making sure you have a stable approach. And my approach was not stable at all. This was a bad approach. So if you can learn something from this, please take it and run with it. I know I did.
Go around. Going around. Brunswick County 4293 Juliet, going around.
So why did I go around? One, the approach was not stable. Two, yes, you saw that runway, but I was running out of runway really quick. I had a lot of energy still left, and I'm just floating in ground effect. And I mean, I was at full idle, but I'm just floating. And I wasn't going to be able to have enough time to get it on the ground, brake, and do all of that. So I just decided to go around, do it again, and shoot for a more stable approach. And I think that was probably the best thing to do. Hopefully, you know, if you're ever in that situation, you start off on a stable approach, if all possible, making sure that, you know, you're not getting blown into the runway. Just pay attention to those things. Those little things make a huge difference.
Big Greenville traffic, Diamond 302 Delta Sierra, 10 miles to the northeast at 2000, inbound for runway 2, Big Greenville. Williamsburg, just by one final.
Brunswick County, final for runway 36, Brunswick County 4293 Juliet.
Now I'm set up perfectly. So this is my base and I'm turning from my base into final. Didn't overshoot it. I was the correct distance away that I needed to be. This allowed me to have that stable approach that I was talking about earlier. And now I can just glide in, just, get my descent angle properly, get my aiming point on the runway, and just come on down. And this landing worked out very well. I've had problems every time I've come to this airport to land. And I'm not sure if it's because the runway is so narrow or there's a hill. It's on a hill. I don't know what it is about Lawrenceville. I guess if you can land there, you can almost land anywhere, but that's a very interesting place to land. It's a challenge, it's fun, but you have to be on your P's and Q's. And mind you, I'm still a student.
Good job. But like, Brunswick County is a difficult airport to land at. But we got down, and it was a pretty good landing, if I do say so myself. I'm not. Whew. But I had to do that go around, man. That first one, he wasn't cutting it at all. At all. So I'm gonna have to taxi back to runway 36, but I'm gonna taxi and get off the FBO or whatever. Gather my thoughts. Brunswick County 4293 Juliet, taxi back to the FBO, Brunswick County. Oh my goodness, this runway here. This is the problem maker right here. This runway is the problem maker. But we did it. Man. So if you can see my track here on the iPad, I came in, had to lose some altitude here. That's what those circles are for. Coming down in altitude. Then I attempted the landing one time, too high, too fast. Then I had to come back around. So I did a go around, came back around, got myself set up pretty decently, landed the plane. Man, that was quite a bit going on. But it's fun. Just gotta stick with it, go back to your training, do what you're supposed to do from training. You'll be good to go.
Another thing about this runway is when you take off from 36, you're going down a hill. It's a slight hill, and it seems like the plane wants to lift off early.
Brunswick County 4293 Juliet, taking off runway 36, Brunswick County.
And I guess the goal here is to make sure that you don't lift off early, but I definitely felt it, and I know I was pushing forward on the stick, so it didn't take off too early. I did wind up getting myself in the ground effect. I think that was a better decision. Kind of doing like a short field takeoff here, having that 25 degrees worth of flaps in, and then floating in ground effect for a little bit to build up that speed and then take off. This airport is something else. It really is. If you get a chance, if you're in the area,
a shorter runway.
KLVL.
Everything's good. Fuel pressure's up. Good to go there. All right. Don't want to fly this too fast. And it's ground effect for a little bit. All right. There we go. We are off.
Runway 21, touch and go back to the northeast, Farmville. That's Downwind for 3, Farmville.
Lawrenceville likes to be dusty as well. I've noticed that. I don't know what that's about.
There's a lot of radio traffic in Lawrenceville. I think you have about 3 or 4 airports that's all sharing the same frequency in that area.
Like the traffic base of 010, left hand runway 21 right here.
Okay, so my normal camera back here, that's the one I normally use to use the sound, died on me. I had the charger on this one and that one, so still got some power going on there. And I am 12 nautical miles out, but I do not hear weather. Might be something going on with their system. It's just clicking and popping.
65 Hotel Fox, clear, runway 28 active, and taxi on runway 10 to the line.
But at this point, I can start coming down. Hampton Road traffic 4293 Juliet, 10 miles out for runway 28, Hampton Road traffic.
Service traffic base of 01, final 2
Veering off to the right a little bit, that way I can come in for the downwind, a 45 downwind for the...
Hampton Road traffic, 2647 Lima, and the left downwind for runway 28, Hampton Road traffic.
There is a lot of traffic going on in here.
Hampton Road traffic, 40 Romeo, on final runway 28, Hampton Roads.
Hampton Road traffic 4293 Juliet, entering a 45 for the downwind for runway 28, Hampton Road traffic.
Hampton Roads traffic, 40 Romeo, left crosswind, runway 28, Hampton Roads.
Hampton Roads traffic, Cherokee 90623 Juliet, preparing to depart, runway 28, once it's clear.
Hampton Roads traffic, 2647 Lima, on upwind, runway 28, Hampton Roads traffic.
Hampton Road traffic 4293 Juliet, gonna circle out here to give you guys some room.
Appreciate it. 47 Lima.
Hampton Roads traffic, 2647 Lima, turning left downwind for runway 28, Hampton Roads traffic.
Now, if you see ForeFlight, you'll see that there's a lot of traffic going on right now at Hampton Roads Executive. I mean, there's 400 feet below me, 600 feet below me. Everybody seemed to want to do traffic pattern work that day. This was a Friday, but it was busy as all get out, and I was getting frustrated because all I wanted to do was get into the traffic pattern so I can land. I've been out flying all day and I was ready to go home.
Hampton Roads traffic, 40 Romeo, left base, runway 28, Hampton Roads.
And earlier, I tried to get in.
Hampton Roads traffic, 90623 Juliet, departing pattern to the west.
But it just didn't seem like, you know, folks wanted to let me in. They weren't giving me any leeway to get in, which is why I wind up circling. And not only did I circle once, but I wind up circling twice. And then I was like, forget it. I'm just going to make my way in. And luckily, I was able to get in. But there's this one plane, this one guy. I think he was calling his turn super early, because I'm sitting there looking for him. He was the only person in a pattern I could not find. He was calling and wasn't where he was calling.
Hampton Roads traffic, 40 Romeo, on final runway 28, Hampton Roads.
And it turns out he wound up being in
Class
front
Charlie
of me.
in 6.7 miles.
Hampton Roads traffic, Scout 2647 Lima, turning left base for runway 28, touch and go, Hampton Roads traffic.
Yeah, but no one wanted to get out of the pattern. I don't like being at the airport when there's a lot of people just doing pattern work. To me, that's kind of some of the most dangerous times to be at an airport, even trying to join the traffic pattern, especially when you're a non-towered airport and you guys have to manage yourself. You know, people are jerks sometimes and they don't want to let you in.
FBO's traffic, Sky 2647 Lima, turning final, runway 28, touch and go, Hampton Roads traffic.
But you got to do what you got to do to make sure that, you know, you're safe and that everybody else around you is safe as well. You know, you do your best to look out for everybody, even if they're not looking out for you and, you know, helping you out with so that you can get in and have a safe situation. It's kind of like defensive driving. I guess you would say defensive flying, if that's a thing.
Hampton Roads, Challenger 650 Victor Lima, taxiing from the FBO to runway 28, Hampton Roads.
And that's another thing. Hampton Roads has a lot of helicopter activity. They're all over the place at Hampton Roads.
Hampton Roads traffic, 408 Romeo light sport turning left crosswind runway 28, Hampton Roads.
So this is the guy right here that I could not find.
Hampton Roads traffic 4293 Juliet, entering a 45 downwind for runway 28, Hampton Roads traffic.
Like he calls it, and I can see him on the iPad, but I couldn't actually see his plane in the air at all.
Class Charlie in 6.4 miles.
But while I'm heading in to join that downwind, you know, once he hits that 1,000 feet, you know, he is going to hit that downwind.
Traffic,
and I'm
11 o'clock,
above him.
1 mile, 700 feet below.
So he's hitting his downwind.
Hampton Roads traffic, Sky 2647
and I'm going to hit that
runway
downwind
28,
right behind
remaining in the
him.
pattern, Hampton Roads traffic.
I'm going to hit that downwind right behind him. And I can literally, like, he's extremely close.
Traffic,
We're extremely close to each other, but he's
2
ahead
miles,
of me.
700 feet below.
There's traffic, Sky 47. We'll extend that upwind for the downwind traffic that's turning off the 45 now.
Thank you much.
No problem.
Yep, he was talking about me, and that's the courtesy that I'm talking about. I really appreciated that, him extending, you know, his upwind so that I can join the pattern. The guy who was ahead of me, I mean, we're at the same altitude at this point, and he's a few hundred feet in front of me. So, you know, I wind up slowing down. So just to give him space, and then you'll see.
Hampton Roads traffic, Sky 2647 Lima, turning left crosswind runway 28, Hampton Roads traffic.
So it's actually a base.
All right, Hampton Roads traffic, Challenger 650 Victor Lima, taking the active 28 straight out departure up to 3000 Hampton Roads.
And then I wind up extending my downwind to give him more room.
Hampton Roads traffic, 408 Romeo light sport turning left base runway 28, Hampton Roads. Hampton Roads traffic, Sky 2647 Atlanta, turning left downwind runway 28, Hampton Roads traffic.
Hampton Roads traffic 4293 Juliet, extending downwind for that left base traffic. Hampton Roads traffic.
Just trying to make sure we're all safe. But it was definitely necessary. I mean, he was right there, and he was flying a light sport aircraft, probably about the same speed and rating as the plane that I'm in, which is a Piper. I believe this is the 160 horsepower.
Challenger 650 departing the upwind, and Hampton Roads at the 3000 as well.
Hampton Roads traffic, 408 Romeo light sport on final runway 28, Hampton Roads.
Hampton Roads traffic 4293 Juliet, turning left base for runway 28 Hampton Roads traffic.
And there we go. Now I can get along with it and start getting myself towards the ground. But yeah, if you still see the ForeFlight up there, you can see how close all this traffic is in this one little area. It's very stressful. But ultimately, we worked it out. And, you know, that's good communication, learning those communication skills, being on the radio, making sure you're looking out for the other traffic. I mean, it all worked out. It's just a highly stressful situation.
Hampton Roads traffic 4293 Juliet, turning final for runway 28 Hampton Roads
400
traffic.
feet above. 500. One mile final runway 28.
Hampton Roads traffic 408 Romeo light sport upwind runway 28 Hampton Roads.
Hampton Roads traffic 2647 Lima, turning left base for runway 28, touch and go Hampton Roads traffic.
Yeah, unfortunately, I didn't have my older over-the-shoulder camera. Batteries died on me. I didn't realize that the plug that I use can actually take a charger. Otherwise, I would keep that one charged. But you live and you learn. I know now. And next time, I'll make sure that thing is nice and charged for the entire flight.
Aiming for 28. Runway should be made. Are looking good here. Build.
Hampton Roads traffic 2647 Lima, turning left, turning final runway 28 Hampton Roads traffic.
Hampton Roads traffic 408 Romeo light sport, turning left downwind runway 28 Hampton Roads.
Hampton Roads traffic 4293 Juliet, clearing the runway via Charlie Hampton Roads traffic. Hampton Roads traffic 4293 Juliet, clear of runway. Hampton Roads traffic 4293 Juliet, taxiing to the west ramp, Hampton Roads traffic. That landing was beautiful. I think so. I might have made my 3 hours. Maybe not. That I'm not too sure of.
I did not make my 3 hours, unfortunately. I was at 2.9 hours. So now I have to do another cross country to make my 5 hours of cross country solo.
But that was fun.
Hampton Roads traffic, Sirius 522 Whiskey Tango, entering the...
I tell you what, it is tiring. Oh my goodness, I am tired. That is for sure. But it was fun. 150 nautical miles. Had to do some other stuff up there. It was a lot of traffic. Too much daggone traffic. I don't know what they got going on here at Hampton Roads. A lot of people trying to get that week for the weekend flights, I guess. Break on. All right. We are going to cut off this avionics. Cutting her down. All right, avionics are off. Pop that engine. That brake.
That's not needed in there anymore. Magnetos are off. We have landed. We have touched ground again. Oh my goodness grief. That's a lot of flying. That was a lot of flying. I actually have power right here to charge, so I could have still put my power. I didn't know that. It's good to know. I got a little power adapter here so I can charge. If I would have knew that, I would have hooked my main one back up to power as well, because I did have another one back there. Good to know for my next flight that I'm quite sure I will have to do. Man, it was a lot of flying, but I've got up. She's got me back down on the ground safely. I didn't bust that strut up, so my landings were pretty decent. Much better than the last time I flew across country, so I'm actually proud of myself. In the pattern out here, and this was in the video too, but it was heavy traffic out here today. A lot of people doing pattern work. It was hard for me to even get into the pattern, so kind of just had to force my way in behind the airplane. And I can see him right in front of me. Luckily, there was another pilot who was kind enough to extend his upwind for me, so that way I can go in and have some room, because I circled twice. But once I got in, I extended my downwind to give room for the other guy to go, and finished off. I was planning on doing some more traffic pattern work, but it was just too crowded, extremely too crowded. And hopefully I got 3 hours. I think I'm just shy. According to ForeFlight, I got 2.8, but ForeFlight's not taken in consideration when I had the engine on earlier and all of that, so I might be just at 3. I'm hoping I'm just at 3. I'm hoping. That way I don't have to do another cross country to fulfill my 5-hour requirement. So we'll see how that goes.